Check, check, check. What's going on, everyone? How are you doing today? Good to see you all. Thank you for coming in again on Tuesday morning here on the Spur Coffee channel. I'm Jay, and we're doing our normal live stream every Tuesday morning, Eastern time at 10 a.m. Thanks for tuning in. And today we're trying something a little bit different. We've got we're simulcasting on Kumu. Kumu is a new-ish live streaming social media app from the Philippines, and we're doing our first live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're coming in from Kumu, appreciate you being here. I hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me, drop me in the comments below. I'm trying a different kind of setup where I'm splitting the audio into both systems. So we've got our normal YouTube live stream. You can catch us on YouTube typically on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern, which I guess is 10 p.m. Manila time right now. And it is sprocoffee.com, Spro Coffee, SPRO Coffee on YouTube. So come check us there if you want. And thanks for tuning in. So today we'll be talking about coffee and answering your coffee questions like always. Today we're brewing with the AeroPress. The AeroPress, let me use this one here. The AeroPress is a device created in 2005 by Alan Adler. Here's the AeroPress right here. And if you have any questions about the AeroPress, how to brew with it, we're going to go through it today. So let me know what you think. And yeah. What's up, Carlito? Good to see you. Oh, that's Carlito, the normal little app guy. Anyway, so here's our AeroPress. The AeroPress is basically like a big syringe is the best way to do it. It's three major components. You've got an outer section, a plunging section that has a plunger part. It's rubberized, and these are plastic components that are, what is it, over the years since they started, and I've been using the AeroPress since they started making them in 2005, and they're great brewing devices. The thing is that they are also BPA free and all that carbon properties. And so okay, so basically you're supposed to take the top off, right? And you have your brewing vessel, whatever you want, and you're supposed to brew. The idea of brewing with the what do you call it, with the AeroPress is that you're supposed to brew with it this way. You take the AeroPress, you tear it apart, you put the coffee inside, and then you add the plunger, and then you plunge down, pressing the coffee through the filter, right? There's a filter here at the bottom, right? The filter here at the bottom. And it is a light pressurization. I don't really know the total pressure offhand, but it is a light pressure that when they first came out, that they were saying that it was like an espresso. Yes, it is pressurized like you would pressurize an espresso shot, but it's not quite the same pressure, and it's a bit different. The characters are a bit different. So we're going to try that today. What I like to use is the inverted method of coffee brewing. And basically you're just taking this, turning it over, and we're going to add the coffee into the spout. And then we're going to add water, let it steep and stir for a few moments, and then we're going to press it. Now we're using the inverted method because if you take the AeroPress recommended route of brewing it this way, once you add the water starts to, of course, flow through because of gravity. And we don't really want to. We want to contain that water and let it immerse with the coffee for a few moments in order to get a good extraction and get the flavor that we want out of the coffee, right? So we're going to use the inverted method. The inverted method means that we are taking the whole AeroPress, we're turning it upside down with the cap on top. We're going to add coffee into it, and then we're going to add the water, let it steep, and then press, right? That makes sense. Okay, good. And so the AeroPress comes with a couple different accessories. Of course, it comes firstly with a little holder for filters, right? There's a filter holder here, And this filter holder, it actually comes with a pack of 300 filters. So, you've got a lot of coffee brewing to do with it before you need to buy another pack. So they sell them in 300 pack sets. And, I personally have never bought a pack for myself because, well, I buy a lot for the company. So if I need anything, I kind of brew here. So it's not like I have to worry too much about it. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the filter, we're going to put it inside the filter holder. Now we're going to take our AeroPress. Oh, and also it comes with a couple other accessories. Let me go through those as well. So this is the full-size AeroPress. It comes with a paddle, a stirrer kind of thing, right? It's honestly, it fits pretty well into this thing. It takes up, I think it's a little bit too wide. I think it's a little bit awkward of a design, but it works. So we don't get too much into it. Then it comes with a coffee scoop. The coffee scoop is designed to hold 14 grams of ground coffee. So if you want to measure out 14 grams, this is supposed to give you right around 14 grams. So if you're just joining us on the live stream, welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate you. If you're watching us on the replay, thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, drop them in the comments below. But if you're here live, we're actually live streaming and on YouTube with our normal live stream at 10 a.m. And we're also simulcasting on Kumu, on the Kumu app. We're trying out the Kumu app for the very first time, so it's kind of exciting. I to be honest with you, I'm a little bit of a curmudgeon, I guess, because I don't really understand the Kumu app. It's completely new to me. It was actually my mom, I think, who mentioned it because my cousins were telling her about it, and I was like, okay, let me check it out. And now we're here. All right, so let's start to go. Oh, also it comes with a funnel. Right, this funnel helps you put it on top of the AeroPress, and it helps you to put the coffee in cleanly. So if you're watching from the Philippines, also, by the way, sorry about that. I don't really have good Tagalog skills, so it's all about nosebleed today. So we've got our filter funnel, and we have our coffee. And our coffee today is a Costa Rican coffee that I sourced from the Ortiz family. And it's a coffee from Tarazu. 3 sisters, and it's from their Ortiz 1800 farm. Finca Ortiz 1800, or is it 1800? 1800. It's a beautiful, red honey, yellow honey coffee that is just produced by these wonderfully nice, lovely 3 sisters. And yeah, the coffee is really fantastic. So we're going to take this, and as you can see, we're going to pour it using the spout, the funnel. The funnel really does make it easier because it can get messy, and then as you can see here, so the funnel, as you can see, this is the filter holder. It locks in place, right? So if you get coffee grounds in here, it just makes it more difficult to work with. So use the funnel, makes your life a little bit easier. And then we're going to take our hot water. So from here, it gets pretty simple. We're going to time out about 90 seconds. So we're going to add water to basically we're going to about 4 ounces of water, which is the maximum capacity. We're using about 32 grams of coffee right now. So I've added the water to the coffee, and I'm just stirring it to make sure that it gets fully hydrated. And I'm watching the timer on the broadcast meter. That's going to tell us where we are going with this. So if you're just joining in, we're making coffee here with the AeroPress, which is a light pressure brewing device, single cup. I guess you could make multiple cups out of it if you really, really are interested in that. And this is a great little brewing device. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate being here. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Oh, we have some comments here. Mark, good morning. How are you doing today? Mark is joining us on our YouTube live stream. All right, so that's about 90 seconds or so. So now we have our paper filter inside the filter holder, right? Like the paper filter holder. We're going to put that on top and just lock it in place. Give it a little bit snugness, right? And then we're taking our brewing pitcher. We're going to put it on top, right? This so you see it's completely inverted. And then in one fell swoop, we're going to turn it over. As you can see, it's already started to drip inside the vessel. And now we're just going to press down with even pressure. You don't have to really go that hard. It shouldn't be too difficult. All right, that's good. That's good. You can actually hear a bit of a hissing. I don't know if you heard that. There's a little bit of a hissing that once you finally reach that last air pocket and your brew is finished. And then there's always a little bit that's hanging out right here. So you just kind of want to shake it off and give it a tilt so it like slides into the vessel. All right. We're going to put that aside. And now we've got our brew. All right, so this is our brew. It smells nice. It's a concentrated brew, right? So we're going to taste the concentration and see what it's like. Now this is a fairly somewhat fine. It wasn't a terribly fine roast. It was somewhat fine. Oh, there's definitely a sharpness. It's definitely a thicker, fuller roast. I mean, a fuller flavor. That really heavy concentration. So typically, when we're brewing this in our shop, we actually will add water to it because it's really the concentration we're using is really designed for 12-ounce servings through our 350 milliliter serving. So it's thicker, a little more bitterness. But as you can see, there's no crema. So the people that say that it's like espresso, it's really not. It's really its own thing. Just a heavier, deeper, thicker roast. And then we're going to cut it down a bit with a little bit of water. This really brings us more to a drinking strength. And, people may say, oh, that's kind of strange. But really, it's kind of like whiskeys and alcohols. You'll take like your whiskey and once it comes out of the barrel, it's at a certain proof. They actually cut it with water to bring it down to drinkable proof level. So kind of a similar idea. And for all you Kumu watchers, thanks for all the love. Really appreciate that on the app. So it's got a nice, like now that heavy bitterness, that heaviness has kind of mellowed out because it's been diluted and kind of balanced. So it's a lot more balanced of a cup now. It's still bright and vibrant. A lot of like juicy kind of citrusy notes, but are relatively dry, kind of like eating a star fruit. So when you eat that, when you take the star fruit and you slice it in half, or slice a slice out of it, and you bite it, it's got that, it's lightly sweet, quite a bit tangy, right? That's what we're experiencing today. Ooh, that's quite interesting. Quite interesting. And Mark's asking, what bean did you brew? So the bean we're using today is the Finca Ortiz 1800 from the Three Sisters in the Tarrazú Valley. It's a nice coffee. It's one of my favorites, actually. I've really always liked working with this family. Yeah, and it's interesting. Like the coffees are always kind of evolving and changing, and like there's a little bit of a different character as the coffees, carry on through time. Yeah, this one's got really, really interesting character today. But really very much like that star fruit. Like it really reminds me of taking a star fruit, taking a slice of star fruit, and then leaving the rind on the star fruit as you're biting through it. And then the character of this coffee today has really, really strong connections to that brightness, that kind of acidity, the slight dryness from that. Like when you bite into it with the rind right on the star fruit, it kind of gives that dryness on the tongue. That's all very similar here today. What's going on, Swish B? How are you, man? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. We're here brewing coffee with the AeroPress. Or at least we did brew it with the AeroPress. And now we're just tasting it. This is the Finca Ortiz 1800 from the Taruzú Valley in Costa Rica. If you're interested in trying, we have it on our website on spurrowcoffee.com. And if you're watching us on the Kumu, this is actually a simulcast of our weekly Tuesday morning live stream at the Spurrow Coffee channel on YouTube. So wanted to give a try out to this Kumu app and see what it was all about and see how we might be able to do content for it and, that kind of thing. Ah, my goodness, that is quite nice. It actually makes me wonder if I, kind of wish that I had saved my breakfast. I had I made some pampardou, the French toast using baguettes. Just a few pieces and maybe a little bit of sausage, homemade sausage. And, it's interesting when you're making the homemade sausage, you're working with let's say a pound of ground pork and you're mixing in all the different spices. And, like today's one, I think maybe I need to one of the things if you work the ground pork too much, it can make it, a little more mealy, right? It can break down the coarseness. I like a relatively coarse ground pork for breakfast style sausage, but it also means that sometimes you get pockets of, let's say, like today, there was a big pocket of fennel. So today's sausage patty was quite heavily on the fennel. Mm. Nice. All right, let's see here. What do we got going on today? What's happening in the world? So here's some news from Baltimore. The Johns Hopkins Medical Center have identified 3 metabolites that have been associated with coffee consumption are associated with incident chronic kidney disease. Oh, goodness, that's not a good thing. William Hay from Johns Hopkins University here in Baltimore identified serum metabolites associated with coffee consumption in 2 subsamples of the atherosclerosis risk in community study. The associations were replicated by the Bogalusa heart study with, so the first one, the atherosclerosis risk study had 3,811 individuals participating, and then the Bogalusa heart study has 1,043 individuals. The prospective associations between metabolites with significant associations with coffee in both cohorts and incident KCD and ARIC were examined. Wow. I don't know what that means. I'm not smart enough to know what that means, but basically it means that there may be some kind of connection with coffee to incident chronic kidney disease. No, that's just not quite pleasant. That would not be a good thing. I can't say that's a good thing. What else is happening out there in the world? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. In the world of coffee. Oh, that's right. So tomorrow, tomorrow, November 10th and 12th, is the Brazil International Coffee Week at the Expo Minas in Belo Horizonte. So if you're interested in, going to a trade show, there is one happening tomorrow, the Semana Internacional do Café. Actually, I don't know if I pronounce Portuguese very well. I know more Spanish than I do that. But it's 3 days of talks, courses, and workshops. And so it should be kind of interesting. It's one of the biggest shows in Brazil. So if you happen to be down in Brazil, that might be a place, or at least with the interest of going there, you could probably fly down there and do your own thing, I guess. And then also coming up at the end of the month is the Masterpieces by doTERRA auction. So that happens on the 30th of November, which is doTERRA, which is a grower in Brazil, is showcasing 15 coffees named after the constellations observed by the native people from Brazil. So for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere that are, there won't be a Cassiopeia blend because she's up here and not down there. I have no idea what's down there. I've actually not been to the Southern Hemisphere yet. Like I've been very close, like right on the border. Like Uganda is right on the border. Colombia is close to the border. But I don't believe I've ever been south of the equator yet. We were supposed to go during pandemic to Australia, but, well, pandemic, that happened. Oh, and Rabia Ledesma, welcome. How you doing today? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. We're making coffee here, talking about coffee. Any kind of coffee questions you guys might have, drop them in the comments below. Be happy to talk about them, or at least see what we can figure out. Right now, we're talking about the doTERRA, the Masterpieces by doTERRA auction that's happening on the 30th of November at 1400 Zulu, Universal Time or London time, which I don't know what time it is wherever you guys are. Here it's here 2 p.m. is probably 9 a.m. 9 a.m. here. You can order sample sets for America and Europe. The American Europeans can order sample sets of these coffees. There are 15 samples, 200 grams each. The last day to order is the 12th of November. So in 3 days, you have to order. The sample set is $280 US. And so they're all micro lots. The opening price expected is $16. So that should be, let's have a look at these. We'll have a look at, whoops. So if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I can share on the YouTube. I don't have a way to share it on the Kumu yet. For those of you watching it joining me on Kumu, this is my very first time with Kumu. So I'm still learning all the intricacies and everything about it. But we'll talk about it nonetheless. The first lot is Azim, the Serema. And the Serema is a Catigua varietal. I'm not familiar with Catigua. I've not heard of that one. And it has aromas of raspberry, tutti frutti, and brandy, flavors of port wine, apple floral, cherry, brown sugar, malic and phosphoric acidity, and it uses a natural anaerobic fermentation. Screen size 16-18, and the weights, I guess these are the available weights, 24.2 kilograms, 48.4 kilograms, 72.6, 96.8, and 121 kilograms. I'm not sure why. I mean, I guess they're selling it by those different sizes. And of course, for all these, opening bid is $16 US. The next one is the Seichu, the Waps. Well, they have very different names for constellations in that part of the world. So the varietal is an Aramosa pulped. Oh, that's interesting. Aromas of orange blossom, apricot, nectarine, flavors of ripe stone fruits, orange, raisins, honey, berries, with a honey anaerobic fermentation. Screen size 14-15. The next one is the Mboitata, the fire snake. Whoa. So Larina varietal with jasmine, grapes, citric fruit aromas. And then flavors of raspberry, pineapple, apple, strawberry, sparkling wine, caraco, and phosphoric acidity. That's also natural anaerobic fermentation. So these are some interesting lots. So far in the first three, they're all some kind of anaerobic fermentation. Anaerobic really has gotten that cachet lately. That's like what people find really, really exciting. I guess anaerobic is the new geisha. And anaerobics are nice. Like I've been working with anaerobics since 2015, 2014, something like that. Oh, I see. So if we look at the actual auction lot, you'll see that, like earlier I was mentioning, the different size availabilities. So they are packaging them in these different sizes. So, for example, the number one lot, it's 48. It's both available in increments of, or in categories of 48 and 24.2 kilograms. So they are available in variety of ways of purchasing them, which I guess gives you the ability to buy within your your abilities. So, for example, this is correct, 24.2 kilograms. So, for example, there's a 1B, the Guria Nandu, the Rhea, at 24.2 kilograms is $16, $16 a kilo, which is, seven something a pound. And it's available at the 24.2 kilogram size for $387.20. And Mark's asking, any eugenioids? Let's see here. I'm not sure. I don't know if doTERRA is into the eugenioids thing yet. Varietal aromosa. Is there a way to search on this thing? Well, let's just have a look at the tapir, arara, tuyai. This one doesn't say. Oh, strange enough, this particular lot, the Tuai, the old man, lot number 3, TUYO2, does not specify oh, here it is, varietal IPR 100. I don't believe that is a geisha. Here's geisha, more geisha, the deer is the geisha, the cross, Katura, Serema is Catigua, the hummingbird is Aramosa, canoe is Aramosa laurina, the jaguar is Kalaj Ethiopia, heron, Aramosa, the tortoise, yellow katuai pulped, wops, Aramosa pulped, the beautiful woman, Laurina, fire snake, we've already seen the fire snake, that's also Laurina, armadillo, Paraiso pulped. So no, unfortunately, Mark, there is no eugenioids. I'm not sure how many people are really doing. I know eugenioids, of course, took a lot of attention during this past year with Sasa and all of that, and even with Diego winning the World Barista Championship. But it's not really a well cultivated crop. I haven't really seen much of it in a while actually. So yeah. Unfortunately, none of these available here is eugenioids. But it should be interesting. The auctions always do well. Like, we were talking here before, like $16 lots. I doubt any of them will go for $16. I guess that would be a steal at $16. Which means that $16 a kilo Yeah, 7.27 a pound. So not terribly it's definitely pricey coffee, but I wouldn't say it's like really it's not starting out expensive. It should be a good decent, price. That's a good decent price. Now, where it goes from there, I mean, it could be anywhere. Like if you have someone like Suzuki Taro joining you in the auction, God knows if he likes it, he just spent what $2,500 per pound on the geisha lot, the Nuguo. That was crazy. But that's Taro. Taro is a crazy guy. So let's see here. Anything else coming along? Let's see. So since we're talking about eugenioids, I wonder if any of these guys have that, like if any of the importers. So we'll look up Olam and see. Oh, Sabao PH 4115. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. And so we're going to look at Olam. They send me their lists. Estates Anaerobic. Let's look you. No. There's not too many people cultivating it commercially. So I don't think that we will see too much with the eugenioids out there in the world anytime soon. Not like this. But yeah, so if like we were talking before about the doTERRA, so the doTERRA. So those of you watching on Kumu, we're actually looking at the olamspecialtycoffee.com website, where they have some listings of coffees that are available on Spot, and Spot is basically a lot of coffee importers will offer spot coffees, meaning that they have coffees that are available for sale by the bag to individual customers. And these are available until they're all gone, and you can buy them in any quantity that you want. So if you just have one or two, you can just buy one or two. If you want to buy a pallet or more, as long as they have enough to satisfy your needs, then you can get them. So for example, we're looking at this one here, Colombia Tolima Supremo, and that coffee is available from their warehouse in New Jersey, and they have 267 export bags of it. Whereas the one next to it, Ethiosu Sedamo G1 Natural from Chile, is also in New Jersey, but it's only 52 bags are available. So so if you wanted 70 bags, you couldn't get that. They just don't have it. But if you need 70 bags of the Tolima Supremo, that's plentiful there. But like we're talking about, I wonder if they can sort by price. I don't really I don't really buy much coffee. I don't buy really coffee from Olam, so. But at 727 starting price for the doTERRA auctions, where they're going to kick it off, that's not terrible. That's not a terrible price. I mean, if you look at some of these, like his Indian Monsoon Malabar, $4.08. Or this one, Colombia Nariño Excelso, $4.53. Or this one here, Honduras Santa Barbara Meat Pass Microlot, $5.37. So you're talking about more exclusive coffees that are theoretically better cultivated, that are, marginally more expensive. $2, like for example, compared to this Honduras Santa Barbara Honey Don Andres Microlot, you're talking about a $2. You're starting at a $2 premium, and then going from there. But for really great quality coffee that you like, that fits your coffee program, it's not bad at all. Or here, even this one, the Kenya AA Washed Kitty, 7 bags in Alameda, California. It's $7 a pound. So it's pricey, but not crazy. right? And they don't really have any crazy coffees here. I mean, if any of these pricing, are reflective of what they're being paid at the farm, which probably they're not, to be honest with you. It's nicer to see higher prices because the higher prices, well, if the farmer is getting higher prices, then it's beneficial. But if not, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, unfortunately, I'm the concern here now with the whole problems of logistics and shipping and the tremendous increase in cost. I've heard people talking about how $3,000 containers are now going for 20, and that's an increase by orders of magnitude. And so, are the higher prices here that we're seeing in spot is that a reflection more of the shipping situation rather than what the farmers are being paid? And I'm probably guessing that it is the latter rather than the former, meaning that the farmers are not getting paid more. They're getting paid what they've always been paid. And the price increase that we're seeing on this end is really more because of worldwide shipping issues, which is a bad thing, or not a great thing, really, to help anything. Or here, Yemen Ib Natural Sanani Mocha Hawari, $8, 30 pounds. Oof. Yeah, so that's a little bit more on what's happening with coffee in the world. What else is there? What is going on out there? Actually, now that we're talking about coffees, let's have also a look here today we're going to now look at Royal New York, so royalny.com. For those of you joining us in Kumu that want to see this, we're looking at their website. And again, they're very much like Olam in that they offer spot coffees for people to buy. So they've got this new one coming in, Ethiopia Washed Yurgachefe Gedeb Worka Sakaro, grade 1. Log in to view pricing. Oh, they have to log in. I don't have an account. Well, do I have an account? I have an account with them. I don't think I have an online account with them. Well, that doesn't really tell us anything. Select your warehouse. Always New Jersey. For me, always New Jersey. Otherwise, Florida, Wisconsin, California, that's just too far away. In store. Apply the filters. Oh, here we go. They offer 20-pound boxes. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Ooh. 20-pound Nariño Excelsior La Union. $6. Wow. I wonder what those taste like. Conventional full bag Brazil Cerrado 15-16, Brazil Cerrado 17-18. So Brazilian, there's a lot. Look, you see here the 819 bags, 658 bags. They've got plenty of bags of coffee available. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of these are coffees that I don't normally deal with. And I don't really buy much at all from Royal right now, or for the last couple of years. So I'm not too up to date with what they have. Costa Rica La Cumbres La del Poas Perla Negra Natural Micro Lot. 2 bags in store. Crystalano 3, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you spending some time with me here. Oh, Hawaiian Ariana Farms Kona Prime. Wonder how much that costs. Lemon, milk chocolate, probably quite a bit. Panama Boquete Finca Bajo Mono. GP. Organic coffees. Well, they got a lot of coffees. Oh, Robusta. Here's some Robusta. Decaf. Oh, they got a lot of decaf. Good. All right, that's enough with the royal. Let's get out of that. That's a little bit too much. So if there's anything going on, how's your week been? Anything happening? We've got some lovely weather yesterday, and now it looks like today's gonna be similar. We're pushing into the 70s, so that's nice weather here after spending a couple days with like 30-degree weather, really cold and frost in the morning, and my windshield was all frosted over, and that just makes it unpleasant. Now I can finally get outside and do some maintenance. Actually, today I'll be doing some maintenance on our coffee roasting stack. So, every few months or so, every so many roasts, really. It's more like I guess, like 50 roasts. I'll get out there and clean the stack that runs above the building. And what that means is that, the exhaust from the coffee roaster, puts out all kinds of particulates, and it builds up a layer of what's called creosote from the burning of the coffee, essentially. And that stuff, cakes onto the tubing interior of the exhaust tubing. And you really need to clear it out, because mainly you want better airflow, because as the orifice, as the creosote builds, the orifice closes, the inner diameter closes of the tube. And so that reduces efficiency, makes the blowers and the roaster work harder to move. And the greater problem really is, ignition. So for some reason, if you burn it hot enough, like for example, if you lose control of your roast and you end up with a roaster fire, and things compound, that creosote could ignite. And even though we're using double-walled, steel exhaust piping, which theoretically will be much better than it's much better than single wall. The threat there is that the creosote catches fire, and that becomes very difficult to put out. And the creosote then burns through the metal housing of the exhaust, and then ignites the building on fire, which would be very bad. We don't want to ignite our building on fire. So every few intervals, we go out there, tear it all down, clean it all out, and then reassemble. And that's what I'm going to do today, now that the weather has turned pleasant. And then I'm planning on making a video with that. So look for on the Spro Coffee channel another roaster maintenance video that's going to come out maybe in a couple weeks that shows how we actually do that here, tearing it down the exhaust and rebuilding it. So how's our coffee doing? This is the Finca Ortiz 1800 from Costa Rica in the Tarrazú Valley. It's really a wonderful coffee. It's really like juicy and sweet with nice, brightness. Like today it's quite bright. It's not normally like this. I think it's just the way that we made the coffee today. I think the grind, it was probably a little bit on the coarser side than I normally like it for this. And normally I don't make it in an AeroPress. We made it with the AeroPress, and that precipitated a change. Normally I'm using more of an immersion style brewing. Like typically if I'm just brewing for myself, I'm using the Abbott Clever. So I just kind of toss it in there, let it all steep, and then let it filter it out. So, and Mark says, I've been amazed at how much I prefer coffee when it hits close to room temperature. Yeah. That's the thing about it. When you get coffee and you've allowed it to cool down, it really gets, it really allows you the flavors to develop, and to really, it's kind of like a revelation. It reveals itself more because you're no longer, the heat occludes your ability to taste. So now that it's cooled down quite a bit, I tend to find that coffees become much more expressive as they're cooler. Now, there is something to be said about a hot cup of coffee. There's something kind of homey and comforting about that that people like when it's nice and hot. But once it cools down a bit, then you really start to get a lot of the flavor and really expressiveness of the coffee. And this one's quite pleasant, quite fun to drink and enjoyable, and in a different way that's very different the um, than the way it was, than the way it is with other brewing methods. And that's a nice thing. Excuse me. And I think, oh, and that's the thing about a nice coffee, a nice quality coffee, is that it has I think really quality coffees have a lot of leeway, or leeway is the right word, more latitude when it comes to brewing. Like, a lot of people really get caught up in this. I must find this one brew method, and I must make it, and this one brew method must be the perfect method for all coffees, and it has to be done a very certain way. And I think that there's a lot of latitude and expressiveness in quality, and well, in any coffee, that allows you to explore it in very different ways. And this is just reminding me of that, because it is quite different than how I normally have it. Normally, it's not this bright and juicy. All right, pretty good, pretty good. I wonder if you guys that are watching on Kumu can hear me well. I'm running the sound a little bit differently than I normally would, so I'm not really sure if it is working correctly. But if it is, let me know. Or if it isn't, well, if it's not, then you can't hear what I'm saying then. But I imagine you must be hearing what I'm saying, because why would you be watching? Avril Phoebe, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. We are drinking coffee and talking about coffee and answering any coffee questions you might have. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comments. And then Mark says, I'm about to order the Physics of Brewing filter coffee. Double blooming. Physics of Brewing. Is Physics of Brewing, is that a company? Is that a book? Physics of Brewing coffee? Oh, is that the Physics of Filter Coffee by Jonathan Gagne? Is that the one you're talking about? This one? That sounds interesting. By astrophysicist Jonathan Gagne, is perhaps the most significant book ever written on the science of coffee brewing. In the book, Jonathan discusses the physics of percolation, extraction, and grinding. Ooh, that does sound quite interesting. Physics of Filter Coffee. Is it available on Amazon? Whoa, $185. Okay, we're definitely not buying it there. That's craziness. Huh, interesting. We'll have to check it out. Physics of Filter Coffee. Yes, got it, got it, got it. Awesome. Thanks for turning me on. I wasn't familiar with that. Physics of Filter Coffee. I wonder. Oh, wow. That does sound interesting. Oh, so it's been out since the summertime. Okay. Coffee ad Astra. Oh, this is his website. Interesting. I'm going to have to read more about that. Thanks for letting me know about that. That's interesting. 45 on the Rio site. Yeah, I see that. That's, where'd it go? There it is. All right, excellent. Good to know. Good to know. All right, so the coffee's doing well. We've got nice coffee here, brewed on the AeroPress. I'm wondering here now if Kumu allows you to do this to do the streaming from the internet. From a laptop rather than a phone. I've got it running on my iPhone at the moment. I wonder if I can do Kumu from the phone, from the computer. That might make it a little bit better, a little bit smoother. All right, so no, that's pretty much it for the day, I think. We've been here about an hour. Thank you for tuning in and spending that time with me. We'll be back again next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We're now in Eastern Standard Time. We're back to Standard Time. Daylight savings is over, which for most of the people doesn't mean anything. But if you're watching here in Kumu, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here with us. You're actually watching the simulcast for the Coffee Q&A live stream that happens on the Spro Coffee channel on YouTube. That's Spro Coffee on YouTube. And if you want to watch us on there or join us here again, we're going to figure out more on how to do the Kumu thing. And thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on the replay, thanks, and drop your comments down below. And that's pretty much it for this week. I'm Jay, and thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a great week, and see you next time.